Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to set up SSH key pairs between a client machine and a server. You normally want to do this so that you don't have to type the password. It makes things a lot easier, but also it's more secure because the handshake, when you do the login, the negotiation uses encryption instead of the actual password, so it's a whole lot harder to crack as far as being able to log into the server you're trying to reach. I'm sure I could have said that a little more eloquently, but at any rate. So on the machine that you're going to initiate the connection from, if you haven't already, you need to run SSH keygen. And this is going to generate a new private public key pair. I already have the directory there, so I'm going to say yes to override it. I'm not going to give it a passphrase. And then what that will do is, if you don't already have it, it will create a directory called SSH. And in that directory, it will create a ID RSA, which is your private key, and a ID RSA under the .pub, which is your public key. So the public keys is the part that we're going to be using here. In setting this demo up, I had a little bit of a problem. I've got to go research it, but I'm just going to go ahead and type SSH-add to make sure that the client side is happy with this. And so for sake of showing you what is in these files, you could just copy this over to the target server, but in this case I'm just going to display it so you get an idea of what the public key looks like. So now that we've got our local machine set up, we need to go to the server, and so SSH should have it in here. There we go. And for now, use a password because we haven't set up the key pairs yet. I'll type the password right. There we go. And a couple things you're going to want to check on the server. In etc sshd, there's a file called sshd-config. And this file tells the SSH daemon on the server whether to accept public keys or use passwords, or basically it configures how the authentication is accepted. And you want to check this file to make sure that it allows the public key configuration. So okay, hold on, I never get this right. I just look for key. There we go. Public key authentication, yes. And so I've already changed this one before I set this demo up to test it and make sure everything was going to work okay. So I don't have to make any changes there. But if this says no, where I've got highlighted, you need to change it to yes. And you can restart the server or stop the daemon and restart it. But the Windows way is just to reboot. At any rate, sorry about the stab there at Windows. So I'm just going to quit out of there. And then we go to our home directory, and if this is a new setup, you probably don't have a .ssh directory here, so you can do keygen, SSH keygen here. And what we'll do, it will actually create the .ssh directory for you and set the permissions proper on this. There we go. Now, if you already have the .ssh directory, you don't need to run that on the server that you're going to be SSHing to, because what that just did was, if there's a public key and a private key pair in there already, it just wiped them out and replaced them. So I'm going to SSH. Helps if I type it correctly. Okay. Now, I don't have to worry about those, the files that are here. We're not going to be using those. We have to create a new file called authorized keys. And what we want to do is we want to come back over here to the machine we're going to be SSHing from. And we want to copy. And we want to paste that on the machine we're going to be SSHing to. All right, and then we log out. And if I've done everything correct, what should happen is we shouldn't get a login prompt. We'll just go straight in. because the key pairs are being exchanged behind the scenes as part of the connection. There we go. We're in, and now I don't have to worry about the key pairs. Now, the next piece of this to actually securing the machine is if you go back to the Etsy directory and you modify this guy right here. And we want to password authentication, no. Like that. And then if we were to, just for sake of time, to keep the video shorter, reboot. We'll give that a second. Now that's a virtual machine that I'm leasing on the internet, so it's the reboot is really fast. It doesn't have to do the memory check or a check disk or anything along those lines. And we want to make sure that we're still, there we go, and we're back in. Now if I were to try another user, the test for this is, if you've got another user on your machine you're SSHing from, and you can try to SSH over, and if you have not set the key pairs up, it will not allow you to log in.